Hello again. Welcome to class 910. Good morning. It's good to have you. I'm glad to see you. I'm looking at Luigi Barghini. You know, he looks like a mafioso, right? But he's not. He looks like Victor. I can see. He looks like your son is a future mafioso, maybe. Yeah. He looks like, what's the name of this actor? Sean Penn. He looks like Sean Penn a little bit. Yeah, he looks like Sean Penn with a mustache. Luigi Barghini is Italian. He's the father of two children. He has a daughter and a son. His daughter is Anna Barghini, and his son is Roberto Barghini. And Roberto is finishing, Roberto is at the University of Milan. Now, Luigi doesn't live in Milan. He lives in the north of Italy, but he doesn't live in Milan. He lives in Verona. If you remember, Verona is where Romeo and Juliet lived. Romeo y Julieta. They lived in Verona. And Luigi lives in Verona too. But he lives on the outskirts of Verona. He doesn't live in Verona. He lives on the outskirts, in las afueras, in a very nice house. Why? Because Luigi's rich. He's 49 years old. He's young, but he's rich because he has his own company. When he was 27, he started a company making car seats. Well, he didn't start, he bought out a company. Compró una compañía. He bought out a company that was going bankrupt. To go bankrupt is ir a la bancarrota. So there was a company, a factory, relatively medium-sized factory, also in the outskirts of Verona, that made car seats, asientos de coche. But it was having financial problems. And so Luigi and two other men decided to buy it out. Luigi is an engineer. He went to the University of Milan. He studied engineering in Milan. 5 years later, with two friends, he bought out. He bought. El out sobra, pero se dice cuando es adquirir una empresa. Se dice buyout. Compró todas las acciones. He bought out the company. And he became the chief executive officer, the CEO of this car seat factory. After 2 years, the company was not going very well. And the other two decided to leave the business, and Luigi bought out their shares. So Luigi Barghini became 100% owner of Barghini car seats. All right? And then at the age of 29, he began to work, and he created the #1 car seat manufacturer in Italy and #2 in Europe, the #2 car seat manufacturer in Europe. Why and how? How did he do this? He became a good friend of the Agnelli family, Agnelli family in Turin. Turin is the home of the Fiat. And so he managed to supply all the car seats to Fiat, starting about when he was about 32. And the company took off. And then Alfa Romeo as well. He provided car seats. He also provided, interesting, seats for the tractors, tractores Same, which is an Italian small tractors. Fruteros y viñeros, tractores viñeros y fruteros, and they go in. And so these are small, and he provides the seats for these tractors as well. So he's a good businessman and a good engineer and a good leader. And his wife is Sofia. And they got married very young. Luigi was only 22, I think. Luigi was 22 and Sofia was 20 when they got married. Yeah. And they had a daughter almost immediately, Anna. Anna's 27 now. Yeah. Luigi's 49, so they had a daughter right away. All right. And then 5 years later, Roberto. But in the meantime, Luigi was creating a company. And right now, his daughter, she's only 27, but she's the chief executive officer. Luigi is the chairman, Presidente del Consejo. Luigi is the chairman, and his daughter Anna is the CEO. And now they are negotiating a contract with Mercedes-Benz, the German company, Mercedes-Benz in Germany, in Stuttgart, in the south of Germany. They are negotiating a contract for the supply of 30,000 car seats per month. 30,000 for the small models, modelos pequeños de Mercedes. 20,000 asientos al mes. So it's a very important contract that means very important growth. If they win this contract, if the contract is awarded, si es adjudicado, if it is awarded to Luigi, his company will become the number one car seat manufacturer in Europe, because it supplies Fiat and Alfa Romeo in Italy, and it will supply the car seats for all the small models of Mercedes-Benz. And so it's very important. So Luigi and Anna have flown to Stuttgart several times. And the Mercedes engineers once have flown to Verona to visit the factory, to look at the quality control and everything, all the elements. And the German engineers, don't trust Italian quality and Italian engineering. But in the case of Luigi, they're wrong. All right. Now, in Stuttgart, there's a young man by the name of Karl Polster. And Karl is the purchasing manager at Mercedes-Benz. He's not directly involved in the negotiations between Luigi's company and Mercedes-Benz. But because he's the purchasing manager, he needs to know the relevant information for in case the negotiation is successful and a deal is made. But he also likes Anna Barghini. He thinks she's beautiful, and he's very interested in Anna Barghini. And so there's a love story starts. And it's strange because Anna's Italian and Karl Polster's a very serious German man. He's 34. Anna's 27. And that's the story in the books. You can continue the story of Luigi Barghini, Anna Barghini, Karl Polster, and others in the book. All right, expressions, my friend, expressions. Let's go to page number 68. The second expression, 250. Well, 25%. My God. To do a runner. To do a runner. Oh, my good friend Jimena. I've never heard this in my life. To do a runner, ¿será posible? Es irse sin pagar. Hacer una simpa. ¿Sí? To do a runner. I don't know that expression in Spanish. To do a runner. Yes, so it's to leave without paying. He did a runner. He left without paying. Wow, to do a runner, irse sin pagar. That group of elderly ladies did a runner. Can you believe it? Ese grupo de señoras mayores se ha ido sin pagar. ¿Te lo puedes creer? Okay. Yeah, they did a runner. To do a runner, that's new for me. Hey, we're learning English together today, eh? Yeah, I'm learning too, eh? To do a runner, wow. To do a U-turn. To do a U-turn. All right, a U-turn. Okay, yeah. This is a car. And then it stops. To do U-turn. Hacer un cambio de sentido. Un giro en U. Claro, tiene sentido. A U-turn. A U-turn. Usually in the United States, it's illegal to do a U-turn. I remember when I was 17, I was driving my car in a residential area. No cars anywhere. It's a residential area, not a busy street. And it was a hill. Well, it wasn't a hill, but I decided to do a U-turn in the street. And I started, the moment I was in the middle of doing a U-turn, I saw a police car come. And I continued the U-turn and started driving slowly. And the police car came behind me. And when the police car was maybe 10 meters from me behind, he turned on the siren and he stopped. He pulled me over. He got out, came to the car. He said, "Do you know why I'm stopping you?" I said, "Yes, because I did a U-turn." "That's right." And so I got a fine, $10 or $15, I don't remember, for doing a U-turn. I think that was my first ticket, my first fine. Ticket is la citación, es la multa. Fine, escrito fine, como yo estoy bien, I'm fine, thank you, es una multa. Pero solemos decir, me ha dado un ticket. The policeman gave me a ticket. That was my first ticket. And I had to go to the court. It was mandatory. It's only $15. But I had to go to traffic court. Tribunal de Tráfico. ¿Será posible? And so I went in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and and there were 200 people and one judge. Pobre juez. Next. Says, okay, you did a U-turn on Irvington Avenue. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor. $15 plus court costs. $15. 15 más costes, las costas. Okay, court costs. So it was about $20. But the problem was my time. I had to go to traffic court, you see. There was a time in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 300,000 people. 300,000 people. All right. And of course, there are parking spaces in the street. And you pay con a parking meter, pones aquí con la máquina esta, you pay to park. All right. Well, there was a motorcycle convention, Congreso de Moteros or something, 3,000 motorcycles arrive. And they parked many motorcycles in one space. 6 motorcycles in the space of one car. And the police gave all of them a fine, but many. And the fine, okay, $10, $15, it was a parking, And everybody paid except one. One man decided to wait. And the following week, he went for 5 days, 7 days, to go to the court, al juzgado. But in front of the judge, he said, "Your Honor," se dice su honor, aquí su señoría. He said, "Your Honor, 3,000 motorcyclists came to this city 2 weeks ago. And of course, we parked 6 motorcycles in one space. If we had followed the law, and each one parking in a space, we would have covered all of the parking spaces in this area of the city. and it would have been impossible for any other car to park. And so I believe that the law should be changed to allow for this. And the judge agreed. The judge agreed. That's what's called sentar precedente. And he set a precedent. And the municipal law was changed to allow for multiple motorcycles to park in one space. Because the question is parking, not earning money on fines, okay? Is parking. All right. Interesting stories from Oklahoma. To do a U-turn, hacer un giro nu, to do a U-turn, cambio de sentido. All right. To do your bit, at the bottom of page 68. I did my bit. I did my bit. Puse mi granito de arena y ya está. He cumplido. I did my bit. O sea, he hecho mi parte, mi bit. Bit es un trozo. He hecho mi trozo. Vamos, a bit. A bit. Yeah. De hecho, a bit part es una, you would say in a movie or in a play, tienes un papel super terciario. En 2 minutos estás ahí, luego. That's a bit part. A bit part. Once, when I was 15 or 6, when I was 16, I had just turned 16. I had a bit part, a small role in a play, and I played an eccentric German doctor. This is very important, and I needed to give somebody an injection. It is very important to have this injection, and I played a bit part. And I did my bit, hecho lo mío, he cumplido. He puesto mi granito de arena. I did my bit. I did my bit. All right, we'll stop there. We'll stop there. How much time? We have a lot of time, I believe, Marta. We have a lot of time. Yeah, quite a bit. And we'll start at the top of page 69 in our next class. Okay. I have fewer books now. I'm only using 3. I'm only using 3 books now. So I'm going to start talking to you more. And I'm going to talk a bit about my life as well, with perhaps pictures of myself when I was little, or with pictures of my parents, or my house in Houston, or my house in Tulsa, Oklahoma, things like that. And I'll be working with Marta. But I want you to remember that I've been teaching you now for 910 classes. And my advice is always the same. If you want to reach a really good level of English, this comes first, and you must devote quality and quantity time to your ear. And to do that, I don't recommend movies, I don't recommend television series. Perhaps documentaries, yes, but not movies or series, because it's not realistic English, and it's too difficult, and it's demotivational. I recommend YouTube, and there's so much on YouTube. There are 1 billion hours of English on YouTube. I mean, you can go onto YouTube and watch a person for 3 minutes talking about sharpening pencils. Or you can listen to a 10-minute talk about how to use microphones. Or you can how to improve your nails, how to keep your nails. If you used to, you go to YouTube and say, el cuidado de las uñas, nail care. And you can find 200 hours on YouTube in English about nail care. How to polish your nails, how to file, the correct method for filing your nails, okay? And nail salons. What are the best nail salons, etc. And so you can spend 200 hours with nails. You can spend 200 hours listening to different psychologists talk about the human mind and human psychology. You can listen for 500 hours about demographics. You know, the population of Mexico, the age groups in Mexico, the ethnic groups in Mexico, or in Japan, or about the educational system in India. You probably have 200 hours about the educational system in India, or 200 hours about the early music of rock. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock rock, etc. About Elvis Presley, Bill Haley and the Comets, and many others. Richie Valens, Para bailar la bamba. It's Richie Valens. And you can see 200 hours about Richie Valens in English, listening to it. And it's very good English and very relevant English. Not in movies and TV series. Hay muchos gags lingüísticos in TV series that are not important. So watch YouTube. Devote all your time to YouTube. Every day, 30 minutes at least on YouTube. But not music. Interviews. You can watch an interview even with Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister. You can watch an interview in English. You can listen to an interview with Donald Trump. You can listen to an interview with Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Tony Blair, David Cameron, the current Prime Minister, or an interview in English with Angela Merkel, or an interview with Emmanuel Macron in English. And you can just expose your ear to English. You have to expose your ear. It's easy to understand me because I'm an English teacher. I know how to speak accessible English, but real people don't speak like me. I'm not a real person. I'm a teacher. That's for understanding, and that is priority, priority, priority. Understanding. Speaking is secondary, but important. But people place the priority on speaking, and that's a mistake. Don't place number one priority on speaking. Place it on understanding, listening comprehension. Y por mucho más que diga, llevo 50 años diciendo eso. 50 años, entro por aquí, sale por aquí. Y van al libro de gramática, this. I need my grammar. El presente perfecto, ¿cómo era? Y cuándo usar some and any. Llevo 80 años enseñando some and any. De gente que lleva 80 años tratando de aprender some and any. And they think it's important. Well, it's important. But if you make mistakes with some or any, no problem. Yeah. Si yo digo, yo no tengo algo, me has entendido que no tengo nada. Yo no voy a comprar algo. Oh, okay, vale. All right. You understand me, right? Problem solved. Que no me molestes más. No voy a comprar algo. All right. I'm not going to buy something. Okay. I'm not going to buy anything. All right. But they understand you. Of course, it's important to try to improve your speech, of course. But to tell you the truth, 90% of everything we say is very basic. 90% of everything we say is right here. This is 90% of the language, and this is 10%. Bueno, en este libro no, en el otro, el libro del alumno. Because esto es simplemente por ordenar. But in any case, what I'm saying is the basic elements of grammar, the basic stuff that you started learning when you were 10 years old is the only important elements for speech. You don't need advanced grammar to be effective in your speaking. It's nice if you can gain effective use of advanced grammar, but it's not a priority. One of the problems with these exams, los exámenes de inglés como los Cambridge y todo, Oxford y todos los demás, to reach the proficiency, it requires a knowledge of English It's important to pass the exam, but it's not important to negotiate a contract in the United States, Germany, Japan, or Great Britain. No. You don't need 80% of what you need to pass a proficiency for speaking, you don't need for success in business. Only 20% of what's necessary on the proficiency is necessary in real life, in business. For speaking, for understanding, no. For understanding, you need everything. Everything. Because you will encounter people with different accents and people with different diction who don't pronounce well, arrastran las palabras. Well, I think it's better to go there, etc. So remember this, you need to prioritize this first, this second. See you tomorrow.